I returned home. Within 1 week, I went into my executive officer and I demanded to go back to Vietnam. I said, over there, I'm a man. Here, I'm a child. I had done all of that, 9 months, came back, and I could not drink a beer on Orange Avenue because I was under 21. I couldn't even vote for who sent me to Vietnam because voting was 21 then. I wasn't old enough. What did I learn from that? Gee, I guess we send children to war, don't we?
Jesse the Body Ventura, former wrestler, former governor of Minnesota, has weighed in. Recall this.
You and Hulk were once good friends.
Yeah.
What's the likelihood of that ever being repaired?
Never.
What?
Can't trust him. And he's the one that ratted me to Vince when I tried to unionize. I found that out under federal deposition when Vince was put under sworn. And he didn't hesitate at all. And so I wanted to know who ratted me in the locker room because there were no agents, no one from the office was in there when I did it. So it had to be one of the boys. And when my attorney said, Mr. McMahon, has there ever been a union in wrestling? And Vince said, no. He said, has anyone ever tried to? And Vince said, well, I think Jesse Ventura spouted his mouth off about it once before. And my attorney said, did you hear Mr. Ventura? No. Well, then how do you know he did? With no hesitation, Vince went, Hulk Hogan told me. And I didn't show any emotion, but I almost tipped over in the chair because he was my friend.
When he tried to unionize wrestlers to prevent them from being exploited by Vince McMahon and fight for sensible working conditions, healthcare guarantees, and bigger cuts of the profits they were generating, Hulk Hogan went full scab and ratted to McMahon, selling out his colleagues for a fatter paycheck when he should have shown solidarity with the cause.
When we went to court, I saw in WrestleMania 3, Hogan got paid more than all of us combined. Now, why would he want a union when he's getting taken care of? He got more than Andre the Giant and all the rest of us combined. If there was a union, would that happen? No.
Aside from the obvious injustice of Ventura and his fellow wrestlers getting screwed out of tens of millions of dollars throughout their careers just so McMahon and his inner circle could line their pockets more, Hogan aiding in crushing this unionization effort set a horrible precedent for future generations as the WWE, just like the UFC, remains a non-unionized entity to this day, with wrestlers being forced to sign on as independent contractors. So the company can skirt all sorts of labor laws in favor of profit. A depraved businessman like Vince McMahon, whose business model relies on spectacle, dangerous stunts, and choreographed violence, would do anything to avoid providing health insurance, vacation time, paid childcare, paid parental leave, and other benefits to his talent, because it's much more difficult to become a billionaire when you have to split the pie and give the people who are generating the revenue their earned fair share of the fruits of their labor.
So with the power of Donald J. Trump and all the Trumpites running wild, America is going to get back on track. And like Donald J. Trump said, America is going to be great again. When they took a shot at my hero, and they tried to kill the next president of the United States, enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
Nothing encapsulates the Republican Party more than wildly cheering for a washed-up, deeply racist, union-busting celebrity campaigning for another washed-up, deeply racist union buster. Jesse the Body saw Hulk Hogan and the people he associated himself with for who they truly were decades ago. And in a rare move for Ventura, he recognized the threat they posed to the average American and decided to speak out when it mattered most.
Since leaving office, I've rarely endorsed a candidate for office in Minnesota of any political persuasion. But this election is too important. That's why I'm endorsing Governor Tim Walz for reelection.
In the lead up to the 2022 midterm elections, Ventura backed Kamala Harris's vice president running mate, Tim Walz, for re-election as governor of Minnesota, the same post Ventura held from 99 to 03.
Tim has proved he does what's right for Minnesota, not what is politically easy. I took an oath 50 years ago as a Navy SEAL to defend this country. I can't stand with anyone or any party who cannot condemn the January 6th insurrection. And now, women's rights are under attack across this country. Here in Minnesota, Tim is committed to standing up for the rights of women to access abortion and reproductive health care. Minnesota has long, proud history of having the highest voter participation in the country. We've got to keep that streak alive. So get out to the polls and cast your vote.
Again, whether you agree with Ventura's politics or not, Walz was clearly the best choice to benefit working-class Minnesotans and wasn't afraid of carrying out his agenda.
It is now law.
The Democrats should replay this clip of Walz signing a law that provides free breakfast and lunch to public school children over and over again to force them to come up with a reason to explain why feeding children is a bad thing. It's a slam dunk for the Dems to message around, and if there's anything Walz is the master of, it's effectively messaging and communicating.
How often in 100 days do you get to change the trajectory of the world? How often in 100 days do you get to do something that's going to impact generations to come? And how often in the world do you make that bastard wake up afterwards and know that a black woman kicked his ass and sent him on the road? And you know that's something that guy's going to have to live with for the rest of his life.
We can't tell you how surprising and refreshing it is to see a national Dem like Walz use this kind of rhetoric and hit back at the Republicans with the vitriol and fight the Dems have been lacking for so long. And you could tell choosing him as VP is already paying off.
Walz's first executive order as governor was to create a diversity, equity, and inclusion council. He also supported open borders.
You know, he talks about this wall. I always say, let me know how high it is. If it's 25 feet, then I'll invest in the 30-foot ladder factory.
And he pushed socialism.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. Just do the damn work.
Oh, wait, and there's more. He signed an executive order protecting gender-affirming care or surgeries for minors in his state. And in 2020, he was the governor of Minnesota during the George Floyd riots that burned part of Minneapolis to the ground.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.